when I was talking with you earlier, you said the pipes that you brought here this time are pipes that you had set aside throughout the years that, or
It was pipes that I took out of inventory, and I used to have to buffalo my wife, ex-wife now. I could have 40 pipes laid out on my desk, and if there was a new one in there, my regular pipe, and if there was a new one, she'd just walk in, glance at it, you took another pipe. But I was such a stickler on quality control. In the beginning, I kept quite a few. I just wanted to make sure that the oil curing was working the way it should.
Yeah.
And I made some slight changes over the years, but not much.
approximately how many pipes do you create in a year now?
Oh God, I'm down to single numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having a problem with getting wood from Mimo. Mimo's having problems
Can you talk about that a little bit about the scarcity of
There's no scarcity.
there's it's just going a different place is what you're saying.
No, it's not even going a different place. There is briar everywhere in Italy and France. It grows in the Audubon or interstate, whatever.
The autostrada in Italy, yeah.
Yeah. I've gone to pipe shows with Nemo a couple of times. We went to Cologne one time. No, not Cologne. Milano. And another one somewhere.
There's one in Cagli.
No, not that one.
Okay.
This was way up north. And we're going down the freeway, and he'd point. There, up there on the side of the road, that's briar, that's briar, that's briar. There's briar in the middle of the road going by. The problem is getting people that will dig it because it's not a high-paying job.
Ah.
Now, those guys you saw in the video
Yeah.
are Albanians. And I don't know what happened during COVID, but I think maybe they got sent home because I asked Mimo, are those guys legal? And he just shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. And that guy that had that crew working had 3 crews in a big valley, and he had control of all the briar in that valley.
In that valley.
You've got to have, before you can dig it, you've got to have a contract. If it's private land with the owner, and you pay him. If it's government land, you got to have a contract with the government, and you pay the government. But it is everywhere, and it's mountains of it. The burls, I've seen burls bigger than as big as a beach ball.
Wow.
And it was in Mimo's basement. There's pictures all over on the internet of him. He's got one on his website, growing sprouts like potatoes. And I asked Mimo one time, I said, that's all what happens to potatoes. They grow sprouts. Could you do that with briar? And he said no. Yeah, it's everywhere, but it's
So it's the workforce that's really slowing that down, is what you're saying.
Yeah. There was a lot of briar years ago came out of Corsica, and it was really good stuff. Now that's a French island, but it's actually closer to Italy.
To Italy, yeah.
But there's nobody out there digging.
Interesting.
So you can't cut plateaus or you can't cut burls if you haven't got people to dig them.
Yeah. And are you exclusively from Mimo? That's your source of.
I've been with Mimo for 20 years, and I'm a loyal type of person. It's hard for me to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I know what I get from Mimo. He grades his briar, and he's very good at it. And I'm at the point now I only want number 1 grade. I've got number 2, number 3 grade briar from Mimo. Mm-hmm. But I don't have enough big pieces to make the stuff that I've got ordered. I got a stack of orders about an inch thick, but I haven't got the wood for any of them.
Got it.
Now, the guy that was in the video who had the crews digging with,
Right?
he was selling pretty much all of his briar to Mimo, as much as Mimo wanted. He was selling to the other cutters too, but Mimo was his number one customer. Mimo showed him how to judge briar while it's still in the ground. In the video, you see Mimo holding a burl, and he says, "This is what my friends need," and he kisses the burl. He knew when that was still in the ground.
In the ground, yeah.
What was there? What? Well, where do we go from here? Pasquale, at one time, or shortly after that, I guess not after that, but Pasquale decided he was going to cut the burrows, not just dig them. And he hired a cutter from Greece and moved him to, or it was a retired guy, and he moved him to Italy, and he's cutting his own stuff he harvests now himself. He sent me some pictures of plateaus that he had and wanted me to buy from him, but I just can't because I don't trust him.
Sure.
You know, if he's going to do this to Mimo, because here's an example of why I'm so picky. I had a customer from out in Kansas. He was north of Kansas City somewhere. And he had this 150-year-old Mersenne pipe in a case, in a long amber case. Everything was perfect. He wanted one in briar, but it would only take a smooth pipe. So I got to make one that fits in here. And it was a nice shape. I loved the shape of the pipe, and it was a big one. And at the time, I didn't have Mimo. I was just getting to know him. It was that long ago. It took me 9 tries, actually 10 tries, to get to
the one that would work.
The one that I'd leave.
Yeah.
Now, the other ones, I put shorter stems in them and blasted them and sold them all. But I had to make 9 to get one that I would let go as a smooth pipe.
Sure. So that's...
And he did not want sandblast.
Yeah.
And now he's gotten out of collecting pipes, and a friend of mine from Kansas City now has that. I've got pictures. I could find them but it'd take me from now till noon. My phone isn't organized like my laptop is. I've got some pictures with the case open and the Mersenne on one side and the briar pipe
and the briar on the other
side.
Twins,
Yep.
essentially. Yeah. Well, it's incredible to follow your work and to see the progression to where you are right now. You know.
Well, at a show in Italy, there was a big fan of Teddy Knutsen's there. He was an American, lived on the East Coast. I haven't seen him at a pipe show in a long time. And he had done an article and tried to show the progression of Teddy. The article, I just couldn't see it. You know, it just didn't dawn on me. But he was there with a bunch of Teddy Knutsens. I mean, a bunch. He'd filled his table. And he started down in the lower right-hand corner, and he put them in the way he wanted them, the order he saw, or the progression he
Sure.
saw. And it was as plain as the nose on your face.
Huh.
What he saw on those pipes.
Interesting.
The guy was kind of an artist himself.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he used to come to a lot of shows. But you know, back in the early days of pipe shows, it wasn't all commercial like it is now. Guys would bring their collections just to show people, and the clubs would go around and judge them. In fact, I've got from it's either St. Louis or Kansas City. I've got an award for the best collection and show, but they were inventory. They weren't a collection. You ought to see my. Well, I had a girlfriend that called it a brag wall. All the awards I've gotten. It is crazy. It is, and all the awards don't fit on the wall.
Yeah. So, how long would you say you've been carving? Since the 80s to now, that's what?
About 40
years, yeah. Would you consider yourself probably I'll put this politely, one of the most mature carvers that's still in existence?
I find myself, I can't rationalize. I can't figure out for myself exactly where I stand in the industry. I know I'm in the
You're in the upper echelon, yeah.
upper echelon, yeah. I'll grant you that. But there is no number one carver in the world, or number one
A lot of
pipe
it is
maker. And I
preference.
hate the word carver.
Yeah.
Why I just used it, I don't know. And there is no number one pipe maker in the U.S. It depends on who you ask. There's people that would vote me number one, but there's also people that would pick on Jay Allen, Adam Davidson,
Who are all great carvers also.
J.T. Cook,
Yeah,
Mike Butera.
yeah.
Mike Butera, the first show he went to with pipes he made way back, he won Best Piping Show.
Interesting.
His first pipe.
Wow. That's talent.
That's talent. That's talent. Yeah, yeah, Mike, we've had some good discussions, and I've had some good smoking room at airport discussion with J.T. Cook.
Yeah, I bet your wealth of knowledge is incredible. I mean, we're scratching the surface right now. I mean,
With Cook, it was always, he wanted to talk about oil curing, I wanted to talk about blasting. And the only thing JT would tell me, he'd say, Lee, it ain't rocket science. Okay, JT, I'll go home and think about it. He'd say that a couple of times during our discussions. And again, I had to stop and figure it out. What's he talking about? How can I do this? And I went from 150 pipes a year, the year before this. That was in February. We were talking in the St. Louis airport. And the year before, I made something like 150, 175 pipes. That year, when I started screwing around, figuring out blasting, I dropped down to 85 pipes. And I spent a ton of money on equipment and medium.
just takes a lot of your time, huh?
Yeah, when they won't tell you, you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out. That's right.
There's only so much you can do in blasting. I mean, you can buy a Venturi system or a pressure pot and big nozzles, little nozzles.
Right.
Real aggressive medium and, like crushed corn cobs or walnuts. That isn't going to work. They're softer than briars, so that isn't going to. So don't even bother with that crap. But there's stuff out there that chews up the briar kind of quick. You got to work at it.
So in the next 5 years, what do you envision for yourself?
Just what I'm doing now.
Maybe a dozen pieces?
Until the very end.
Yeah.
I'll get above a dozen if I can get number one grade from Nemo.
So it all depends on the briar, huh?
I talked to Antoine from Chacombe here, and he said Nemo's got wood. and he's cutting again. So I don't know where he found somebody or whatever. I jokingly I said to Mimo one call, we use WhatsApp, so we got video calls. I said, Mimo, I'll come to in a pissed off voice. I said, I'll come to Italy and we'll go to Corsica and we'll go dig briar. Oh, you want to come? He said, I can read this. I said, I'm joking, but and I don't know, but I would be happy if that clicked something in his head and he took a trip to Corsica and found somebody to cut for him.
Well, that briar out there there's a lot of it out there. So there's
all up in anywhere in the coast of the Mediterranean.
So whoever
It's
started
all the
doing
way-
that, yeah.
There's briar in Spain, all the way around through Lebanon, through Israel, through Egypt, all the way back.
So
over
all the way
down
around the
Georgia.
Mediterranean, north and south, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the only place in the world.
interesting.
Years ago, a long time ago, they tried growing it in Texas, but it wouldn't grow.
I guess it's that moist climate that is kind of helpful with getting because Texas is arid, man.
The mountains in Italy are arid.
Yeah,
That's why the burl, those what we call grain,
uh-huh.
the dark pieces in there, strips, that's a fiber that attracts moisture from the outside, and it with osmosis it takes it down and deposits in the middle of the burrow.
So it's kind of like a vein or an artery of some
Yeah, it's
sort.
just a little straw that goes down through it. When Mimo first cuts, or any briar cutter first cuts that open, the center of that burrow is usually a dark purple color, a dark red color, and that's where the water's stored. The outside is the light colored side,
Sure.
and that's like the shell of an egg.
Mm.
Okay, and that's what we make. You can't use that center part.
It's just too wet.
The pipe is going to crack.
I got it.
That's for Mimo.
Well, it's absolutely. I mean, we could sit here all day and listen to your stories and your experiences in the industry and in the hobby. I greatly appreciate the time that you've sat down with us. And if people want to see your work, what's a good place to go to?
Best place would be to my website.
Okay, and what is that?
It's von-erck.com.
We'll list that in the description, guys. So if you want to visit that website and kind of take a gander at the history of Mr. Von Erck's pipes.
There's a page on there too that's got 4 cameras down in my shop. And when I'm down
I've seen that. Yeah,
they're live all the time.
yeah, yeah. I visited that a couple of times and watched you at the wheel or or at the
The only
saw.
thing you really don't see is when I'm buffing, and it's not because I don't want to show you buffing, but I'd have to put a 5th camera in. Because the camera that shows where the vise is, where I do the shoe shine sanding, my buffing wheels are right behind there.
Yeah,
Okay, so I got to turn around to buff.
and your back is to the camera. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I know that you've got things to do, and I know you're going back today.
Yeah, I got meet folks for breakfast in an hour, and I got to pack and get the hell out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, we're
going to leave about noon, somewhere late morning. And we got there
Yeah.
at noon.
Yeah, we're on a flight out of here tonight as well. So, folks, again, visit Mr. Von Erck's website, and we'll list it in the description. Thank you so much for sharing your time. It's been an extreme pleasure and an honor.
I hope you got enough good stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't swear too much, did I?
You didn't swear once,
Oh,
man.
yeah, I did.
No,
I
surely,
had to.
surely not.
I know I said I was pissed off when.
You said, well, if pissed off is a swear word for you, then you're doing just fine.
The Don't catch me in a bad mood.
Well,
I
I'll,
was in the army, but I can swear like
well,
a sailor.
I'm used to that. I have two. I have a father and a grandfather that was their careers. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, make all your piping moments count. We'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye bye.